Okay, tell me the story of your education and how the school was founded. Yeah, I learned to read when I was 15 years old. When I was 15, I cried, and I asked my father why I hadn't gone to school. He told me that it was because we were Mayan, and the school was only for Ladinos. We, the Mayans, only work in the fields. Then I visited many teachers in the town, asking them if I could attend school. I said I would pay them with the money I earned in the fields. They all said it was not possible because school is only for children and you're a young man. It's ridiculous for you to study with children. It's not possible. I visited many teachers, and they were very mean to me, more or less because I'm Mayan. With which group of Maya do you come from? I'm Quiche Maya. This whole area is Quiche. So after looking for someone to teach me for a while, I bought a notebook and pen. I saw the letter T, but at the time I did not know that it was a T. I just knew it as a cross of Christ. I filled my entire notebook with crosses. I wrote on every single page. When I was done, I asked myself, what does this say? What does this mean? I cried again because I couldn't read and write. One day, I told my problem to a man who owned a pharmacy of the Methodist Evangelical Church. The man said, I'm not a teacher, but I can teach you how to read and write if you want to come see me at night. What was his name? Mr. Evelio Gramajo. He was originally from San Miguel in the state of Quiche, but he spent many years in Momostenango. And I began to visit him in the nights. After a week, I asked for the bill to find out how much I owed for the week. He told me, no, we can deal with the bill at the end of 1 year. After I finished the year, I asked Don Evelio for the bill, and he told me that I needed another year. In total, I was with Don Evelio for 2 years. I had saved money for work to pay for him. What did you do for work? I worked in the fields with wood, stones, corn and bean crops. That's what we did for work. And sometimes as a construction assistant. I was worried about the bill. But he told me, I don't want money. I want you to teach those who don't know. So I started to teach in the street, in the church, in my house. But we didn't have a house like the school here. My house is very small, but I taught some neighbors and other people that had the need to read and write. After, I began to work with tourists, teaching them Spanish. This is what I was doing when I met Douglas. Was he sitting in the center of town? He was reading in the center of town, and I asked him if he wanted to study an hour a day or more with me. He said he was going to Quetzaltenango, but he decided to come back another day and stay with us for a week. During that time, I was teaching tourists in the morning, and in the afternoon, I was helping people who needed it for free. I had money from tourists, and I was able to use that money to teach others. How did you find people to teach? I went to the town in Quetzaltenango with little announcements that said, "Learn Spanish with Abraham and Momostenango." This is how I found the tourists, many tourists. This is the story of my education. But Don Evelio told me, I'm not a teacher. I can't actually help you get the certificate to graduate. You have to go to Quetzaltenango. I went to Quetzaltenango for 3 years to get my elementary certificate. Then I stayed 3 more years to get my middle school education. After that, I got my high school diploma for 2 years. Then I spent 2 years in the university. Which university? San Carlos of Guatemala. I couldn't continue anymore because my family needed money. What did your wife Feliciana do during this time? Was she working in the store? Oh, she made food and had the kids. With my work teaching tourists, we were able to get money. But did you stay at school or did you travel there? Or? I traveled. I was on a weekend plan. I worked during the week and went to school on the weekends to study. And some people helped me. Like I told you earlier, one day I received a letter from Europe with my address on it. At exactly that moment, I needed money. The night before, I had hoped that somehow money would show up. How much was there? $60 was in the envelope, which I used to pay for my schooling because in Quetzaltenango, they won't give you the certification exam unless you pay a fee. Right when I needed the money, it arrived in the envelope. I was lucky that the money showed up. All night, we didn't have electricity. All night, I went to the store and got candles and studied all night by candlelight. I went to Quetzaltenango and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Director, at noon, I'm going to give you the quetzales. I have dollars right now, and I need to change them into quetzales." He didn't believe me. He said, "Abraham, you have dollars? I know you don't have quetzales, let alone dollars." I said, "Here are the dollars," and said that I'd come back at noon to take the exam. I took my exam and I passed. Now I think it's a huge advantage here for the people because they don't have to pay. They buy their book and their pen, but they don't have to pay a monthly fee for school, the electricity, the water, the desk, chalkboard, the markers. The Foundation of the United States pays for all of it. The students just need to bring their book, the pen, their time, and their interest. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Abraham.